Lucky Lucky Podcast, the Nora Boys in the building, brought to you by NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey or NoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Love, how you feeling, man?
Man, another good day. The summer is getting hot. It's been 29 consecutive days of 100+ degrees in Arizona.
My brother, I have played golf in Arizona. Let me tell you something I'll never forget. My dad and I, we were playing golf, PPC in Arizona.
Great courses.
It's a great course, man. Fabulous time. We walked into the clubhouse. The guy told us it's 114 today. I said 114, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, it's dry heat." I said, "My brother,
yeah, it's dry."
I said, "Dry, moist. It doesn't make me a difference, bro." 114.
Don't let the numbers fool you now.
Like, I appreciate you trying to make me feel better about what I'm about to go through. I don't care,
because the numbers are just for effect. The numbers just for effect.
I don't care if it's dry 114. I don't care if it's a humid 114. No. I am from the Midwest, my brother. I do not care. But I got it through. I got through it, bro. I got through it. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Shout out to the Boston Celtics, man, on there. Shout out to Tank Davis, his performance this weekend. Shout out to Bryson DeChambeau. And man, Rory McIlroy, my brother. I don't know, man. The man is talking about walking away for a moment. I think that's the worst thing to do when you choke.
Oh, he's copping out, huh?
Yeah, get back on the horse, man. You got the Open coming up. Like, yo, he definitely gave it away. He flat out. He had a 2-shot lead with like 4 to play. And just, I'm talking about on short, gimme putts, bro.
Couldn't close.
Putts that little left can hit, bro.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
So the moment got too big, huh?
Yeah. Definitely shrunk in the moment. I want to shout out, look, man, we're going to talk about this, bro. How patient should you be? How patient should you be, right? 7 years, man. 7 years. The Boston Celtics, they inch ahead of the Los Angeles Lakers. That cat Magic Johnson is mad, boy. He was on Twitter like, I can't stand the Celtics having one more championship than us. I love that, bro. I think it's absolutely amazing. But to all the people that for years said Tatum and Brown don't fit, they don't work together, this, that, and the other, they should trade one. Dude. People just don't want to give people time.
Time to develop.
Isn't that the same thing we saw last year with the Nuggets with Murray and Jokic? They gave them 5 to 6 years together to develop.
Yeah. It takes, and timing is everything. Timing is everything. The Lakers are down this year. The Timberwolves are a year away. They didn't have to play the Nuggets. So I think when things fall in the right way, they just fall in the right way.
Yeah. So how long are you willing to wait? Year 3 of Marcus Freeman. We have already said on this show, it's year 3, man. We don't want to hear any excuses. The roster is pretty much yours. The vision is yours. The plan is yours. It's put up, shut up time. Starting in College Station. Let's get it going. Show and prove. And I'm excited to see what Marcus Freeman can do. How many more years do you need to wait for a national championship to show up? Well, heck, it's been since 88.
Unfortunately, though, for Marcus Freeman, he's going to have to deal with the style and how we win. Because winning is not going to be good enough, in my opinion, for Notre Dame fans and for the Notre Dame sphere of influence because we'll win College Station 14. We'll win against Miami of Ohio. Oh, it was only by 20. We'll win against Louisville. Oh, they should have beat them by X, Y, and Z. So there's going to be a margin of victory that Marcus Freeman has to keep in mind outside of just winning these games, because winning isn't just good enough for a place like Notre Dame.
Man, I guess that's a good point, Left. But I'll say this. Big time recruiting taking place. Brian Smith, someone that has covered Notre Dame for over 20 years, said this Left recently on the show that we had him on over at IB. I want to get your thoughts on this. I said, what's changed for Notre Dame to solidify Deuce Knight, be in on a 5-star top 15 talent in the 26th class in Braylon Womack out of Mississippi? Yeah. To consistently go into the state of Texas the last 2 or 3 years and get talent. What has Notre Dame and its staff under Marcus Freeman done to change that? Simply put, he said the head coach is not lazy. He said the head coach is not lazy, and the positional coaches are making a difference. He said in the past, positional coaches wouldn't even be mentioned. Wouldn't even be mentioned by kids from the South. But now, Deuce Knight, his guy's Gino. Braylon Womack, his guy, Mike Mickens. But they all constantly hear from Marcus Freeman. Yeah. Just talk about that, Lev, even from a high school standpoint, because you guys are recruiting in high school now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think one of the things that makes Marcus Freeman so personable is that kids gravitate towards that constant communication. What we've lacked in years before, which is the elephant in the room, is that Kelly not talking to you. You talking to somebody else, talking to them, and then they put you on the phone with Kelly for about 30 minutes. So that gateway of communication is a lot more open with Marcus Freeman. So for a high school kid to have, seeing Marcus Freeman on ESPN, seeing him at the draft combine, seeing him on commercials, seeing him with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, seeing him, in the White House, you get a chance to be like, oh, this is in a way a rock star. And for him to be going out of his way, talking to me in little old city town, Georgia, as a recruit, I think it just makes a lot more headway as opposed to just not having that contact with our previous coach. But that's just not his way of operation. I think that was just how the older school was.
Yeah.
Hell, Nick Saban was like that. You want to talk to Nick Saban, you got to go down to Alabama. If not, he's going to call you on a random private number, tell you everything you got, and that's it. But that's just the respect and that mysteriousness that those coaches of that generation had. Well, now the new generation of coaches, Marcus Freeman invites you to his house, show you all his kids, ask you about your grades, wondering how your girlfriend doing, seeing if you done took the trash out for mom on Wednesday, doing your chores. It has to be a lot more personal because that's what is required for these kids in building relationships. Building relationships has risen in the recruitment ranks of priority, where it's just more than, oh, we're a football powerhouse, this is Notre Dame. Where before, when we're going through it, kids fall in love with the school. Oh, I've been an Ohio State fan my whole life, so if they ever call me, that's my dream school.
Right.
When the last time you heard a recruit talk about a dream school? Never. So these schools got to become crushing on kids. They got to be the ones to reach out and be the first to contact. So the roles have reversed, and I think that's what Jim Tressel, it took a little bit from him. It took a little bit from Nick Saban. Nick Saban's like, I'm over here trying to invite kids at my age. Not happening. So I think hiring Marcus Freeman was bigger than just an in-house hire, but more so of he fits to the requirement of an expectation of what recruitment means for kids these days.
You want to hear something funny that we're going to get to in the second half of the show? You ready to laugh, Left? You ready to laugh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pro Football Focus thinks that Notre Dame is going to win 8 games this year, bro.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Are you serious? Who are the 2 losses to?
Hey, 2? That's like 5 losses, bro. That's like 4 to 5 losses. That's 4 losses. This is like, what? Oh, man. That's hilarious, bro.
I don't even know who would they even. I don't know.
Bro, I don't know.
We didn't even put that in our realm of expectations. Like the lowest ceiling was what, 10, 11 games? The floor was 10, 11 games. The ceiling was undefeated.
Maybe they think Sam Hartman's better than Riley Leonard.
I mean, quarterback is kind of. I look at it as the same way.
Maybe they think we lost too much in the linebacking core.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be a youth reason why. They just don't know about the youth that we have that's more ready than people are giving credit for, considering the coaching, considering the scheduling, considering the depth, considering the experience in other places that's going to help these young linebackers, like that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That front seven is going to be better. Defensively, we were already in the top 10. So it's a matter of, is the offense going to come up to their level? And I think we've got everything you can. This is no excuses.
No.
Everything you can and some to be better than next year offensively. On both sides, coaches and players, and what y'all got going on. So this is, I mean, we have everything to put ourselves in a position to control our own destiny. Yeah, I think.
8 games is absurd, bro.
8 games don't even get us in the playoffs.
Yeah, ESPN gave Notre Dame the best odds to go undefeated last week in an article. Right. And then you have PFF come out and say, 8 games. I mean, the over-under Vegas has it at like 10.5 in some spots. Like, come on, Pro Football Focus.
Come on, Collinsworth. Come on, Collinsworth Company. You a Notre Dame alumni in your own school under the bus. I mean, under the bus. Because you saying we're not making the playoffs. You telling me there's 15 teams better than us, 12 teams better than us. We haven't even been outside the top. We haven't been outside the top 10 on most people's ranking, college football ranking.
Man, I don't know. I just don't understand.
We got the offensive coordinator that just had 2 first-round receivers and a Heisman quarterback. 3 first-round draft picks on offense. Mm-hmm. We got that guy. With the number 1 receiver in receptions, we got that guy.
Yeah.
With a stable of running backs. Stable. Like, it's like having a 3-car garage at your house. It's just bigger. It's just better. I don't understand what Pro Football Focus is about metrics, analytics, numbers. Ain't no way you win 8 games based off of our analytics, numbers, and efficiencies and percentages and stuff. Ain't no way.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. We're going to close this part of the show talking about Notre Dame. Can Notre Dame become the Tank Davis of recruiting? Can they become the Javonte Davis of recruiting? Left, you've already said, Brian Smith echoed the same. How hard is it to recruit at Notre Dame if you're actually willing to recruit? You've always said, dude, Name me 5 schools that have more to offer than Notre Dame. When you put together everything, name me 5 better offers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Name me 5 better offers than Notre Dame right now. Can't do it. And the ones that you will put in there are debatable at that. Because I feel like there's a criteria when you talk about what makes an offer a good offer, or what makes a program offer a ranking offer.
So what I mean by becoming Tank Davis in the recruiting world, I think they have a chance if they go on if they start to win on the field. I don't know if you watched the fight on Saturday night, Left. Frank Martin did everything he needed to do.
You think so?
Perception-wise, some might even say Frank Martin could have been up on the cards going to the 8th. Could have been tied, maybe trailing by 1-2 points at the worst, going to the 8th round. You know why it didn't matter? Because he was being stalked the entire fight. It didn't matter what. Tank was walking him down the entire fight.
You think so?
And at some point, after all you've done to get to that point, and you realize this dude is still coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop him from coming, you start to realize, it's over. It's not looking good. And I think Notre Dame is starting to position itself in recruiting to kind of just walk people. They've walked Ohio State down for 2 California, well, in a sense, for 2 California players in recruiting recently, right? We'll see if they can close the deal with the Ferramo kid, but they walked Ohio State down with KVA, bro. Walked them down.
That's right.
Walked them down. And they've done that with other recruits. They have an opportunity to do that with the Ivan Taylor situation that we're talking about right now. Young man came on his official visit. He might be swaying a little bit on his decision. That's fine. But this is what you do. This is when you become. That's what Kirby does. People come in, they jump in on kids early, right? They jump in on kids early, and then here comes Kirby or Nick Saban in Alabama late in the fall and just walk the top kids down. All of a sudden, you see all of these flips, all of these decommitments, and it's like, what's going on? It's like they know they're the bullies, and there's really nothing you can do. Notre Dame, I think, has a chance to become a bully, especially in the NIL landscape, especially with your conversation with Benjamin Morrison and his dad, and how pleased they are with the work that's being done behind the scenes with the branding of the current players on the roster and expanding their brands along with what they have educationally, academically at Notre Dame, and the opportunity to win a national championship. And in recruits, I think recruits actually can see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to a national championship and the possibility at Notre Dame. It's not just lip service when Marcus Freeman says, come here, we're going to win a national championship. I think
it's definitely not.
Now some players and some young men, 25, 26, 27 classes can really look and say, I really see the potential. It's not just a hearkening back to 1988 in the old days or 2012. I can actually see it happening at Notre Dame, and that bodes well moving forward for Notre Dame in recruiting. Can they become the stalkers? Can they join Kirby Smart? Can they join Steve Sarkisian in Texas as they are starting into that realm as being stalkers in recruiting? We'll see. They're going to have to make a playoff run to get a big win, right? We said it last year. Left, what did we say last year that people got on board with later? Remember in the preseason, we said there's only one game that matters for the overall narrative of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Remember we said that? We said Ohio State. Oh, USC doesn't matter. That's not moving the needle. Get over that hump, they have to beat Ohio State for it to have an effect nationally. We said that. And they did everything they could. Those players played their heart out, except for number 10 that didn't know how to go get a yard and put his head down. But that's an entirely different subject.
Yeah.
But at the end of that game, we said, yo, the coaching staff failed these kids. They played their butts off on that night.
100%. I think, it came down to, okay, we can't compete now. We just got to find those games.
I'm tired of competing, Left. I'm tired of playing Georgia at home and competing. I'm tired of going in between the hedges down in Georgia and Athens and competing and having a drive to win the game in the fourth quarter, but can't close, can't finish. I'm tired of having Ohio State on the ropes in the fourth quarter 2 consecutive years and can't finish. That's the story. We know we can compete. We know we can Frank Martin. We can stand with Tank for 7-8 rounds and be ahead. We already know that.
That's right.
When can we become Tank?
Yeah.
That's the next step. When can we become the Tank Davis in CFB big games? When? That's what the fan base is waiting on, bro.
But that's what Marcus Freeman gives as the persona of he can be that guy that gets over the hump. We can turn into that Tank Davis that we've been missing. We've been the big dog without the bite. And Marcus Freeman is the perspective is that he's coming out like we're getting the bite. We're getting the bite. We've had the bark. We've had the size. We haven't had the bite. Yeah. And through recruiting, I think he's seen that. Getting a KVA from an Ohio State, working on a Justin Scott, going to IMG, putting offers down. We're working on our bite. Now, those players who played their heart out, those also wasn't all Marcus Freeman's players. Marcus Freeman got players that can bite. Marcus Freeman is proven in year 3, this is the team that I've been telling you about since day 1 of who I wanted to be. Because I told you last year, this might not be quite close to what I want, but this can get it done. He told you. He told you last year before the season, it may not be exactly what I wanted, but it can help the guys here and get it done. Year 3, this is what he wanted. Year 3, this is everything that we've been talking about since we got here. So, yeah, this is where we become Tank. This is like the split in the road. Is the program trending upwards or is the program looking the same?
Lucky Lefty Podcast. You just opened the door to a very interesting conversation. But before we get to that, Left, go subscribe. Lucky Lefty Podcast on YouTube, CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Tap in audio edibles each and every day. Last week, we had some things to report. We'll get to that at the midway part of today's show. Left, I'm super proud as a Pops. Got some big things coming up, some things I can talk about, some things I can't talk about quite yet. And then you, man, you're down there suffocating kids in tour-a-days, bro. I'm gonna have to.
Oh yeah, no, we got the 7-on-7 tournaments that's actually like the new thing out here. 7-on-7 is the new basketball.
Are you at least giving them 3 to 4 water breaks, bro? It's like 100 degrees.
Man, my kids are built for this sun. I don't know how they don't constantly get water, but they work hard. But we also have to practice at the end of the day. Super crack at dawn. You just can't be out here at 2 and 3 like normal football teams.
When the sun is at its worst. Yeah.
Oh,
bro.
Yeah. That's 7 in the morning, 7 at night. We're not even having summer camp here. We're going to California for camp.
You know the crazy thing? When that instance I was talking about earlier where my dad and I, we were golfing in Arizona, we actually got a 4:30 tee time thinking it would be cooler.
No, it's like 90 degrees. You feeling good, though. Now, be honest. That morning, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 4:30, you feeling good. You get your day started. In the cold in the Midwest, take a minute to warm up. Man. You go outside, you warmed up. You probably hit a couple shots and was ready to play. You went outside of that course and was like, I'm ready to hit the first hole. I don't need a warm up.
Let me tell you something. I only quit playing golf one time, and that was in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas get hot too.
I quit.
You went at the worst time. You didn't realize that nobody was out there but y'all?
No, and I didn't even realize, bro. I'll never forget. We got to like the 8th hole. I teed off, and we drove up to the ball, and I just saw this haze in front of me as I was getting ready to swing, and I stepped away from the ball, and my dad looks at me from the cart and says, "You okay?" And usually, as a man, most of the time, what are you gonna say when somebody asks you if you're okay? Yeah, I'm good. Straight. I'm straight. But I was like, no, man, I ain't good. And he said it was not. He said, dude, it was just my face just had these white spots.
Yeah, you need to hydrate.
And he was like, yo, let's go.
Yeah, it's frying you. You was getting fried.
But it was like, you know how you feel the heat and you feel tired? It was draining me, and I had no, it was like, yo.
Yeah, because you're like, it's hot. Okay, it's hot. But then it's like it's sitting in your face like a fan is a hot air fan is in your face.
And I'm looking at the green. I can see the green, but it's like this haze in front of me, bro. And literally, it was the reserve. We were playing the reserve in Vegas. And man, I got back to the car, hit the AC. I think that was like the most water I drank in 5 minutes ever.
Yeah, he was like, you know how your iPhone say it's overheated, give it 5 minutes to cool down.
Yeah, and my dad was like, my dad was really scared because he was like, son, I think you were close to possibly having a heat stroke.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah, it get hot for real out here.
Man. Woo, Lucky Lefty podcast. Malik just gave us another topic, and we're getting ready to get to it right now. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, Left, you were talking about elevating, getting over the hump. I don't know if there's a game on the 2025-24 schedule that is that national narrative-changing game.
No.
During the regular season. It's going to have to take place during a playoff run.
The regular season is a beauty pageant contest.
I think so as well, Left. I don't see the game.
Look? Yeah. How good can you look against the worst competition? Because nobody's gonna give us the underdog feel, except Pro Football Focus in these games. Because I don't see
Notre Dame being. I don't see an underdog matchup. I don't know if Notre Dame will ever be an underdog during the regular season.
No way. Even if a team catches fire.
Maybe Florida State late. But
not against the year 3 Notre Dame. Not against the year 3 Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy. There's not a game on the schedule where Notre Dame won't be favored.
Yeah. And the good
right
thing
now,
is,
I think they're 4.5 point favorite at Texas A&M.
And we can't lose vision of teams not giving us not teams, but the media not giving us the credit as we go through this schedule, because it can be misleading at the same time of us meeting the expectation. If we keep in-house expectations of we're beauty pageant contests, we're playing at the bully level, doing what we're supposed to do, our eyes are set on playoff position. And Marcus Freeman has built the team to support that. You got the top offense and defensive coordinators, got first-round talent. You're at year 3 at your program. Mm-hmm. You got the quarterback issue solved on paper. So, yeah, don't be swayed by the Paul Feinbaums of the world that say we're playing a cupcake schedule when we start winning. Don't get upset if the college football world doesn't put respect on a 10-0 Notre Dame team going into the playoffs.
Well, you know what? When you become an elite program, there is no schedule that's not a cupcake schedule. Alabama's always viewed as playing a cupcake schedule. Ohio State is always viewed as playing a cupcake schedule. No, I'm just saying, when you're that good and you become that good, like, dude, you're favored in every game.
That's right. Alabama was favored everything for like 10 years.
Yeah, what do they want? They want you to line up and play Georgia and Texas, Notre Dame back-to-back weeks. It's like no one does that. No one does that. Right? The SEC schedule now for a lot of teams in the next 2 to 3 years is about to be somewhat treacherous.
Yeah.
Somewhat treacherous, to keep it a buck. But I want you to do this. Divide the pie. We talk about taking the next step. I want to know the responsibility of taking the next step. How much of that responsibility lands at the feet of Marcus Freeman? How much lands at the assistant coaches? How much lands on the players? And Left, you can get into specific players. You can split up this pie however you want to, Left. If you want to put 50% of it on Riley Leonard, you want to put 25% of it on Al Golden or 25% on this defensive player, I want to know, Left, put up or shut up. But where's the blame going to lie? Where does the responsibility lie? You have 100 pieces of a pie to split up. How are you going to break it up when it comes to who's responsible for Notre Dame being able to get over the hump? I think
that's right.
I'll go first, Left. I'll go 25% Marcus Freeman. I'll go 25% coordinators, offensive and defensive coordinators.
25% coordinators?
Yeah, Left. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the secret sauce of the team.
You know what?
That's the secret sauce of the team.
So you're saying more. You think they deserve more?
I think the coordinators make the connection between why year 3 is the launch year, but also the quote unquote problem solver for where we were lacking in certain areas. Mike Mickens taking over the whole secondary is supposed to improve the secondary. Denbrock taking over the offense improves the offense to where we still have a lot of the same players. 1 or 2 pieces may be different, but because we got that coach, now the floodgates are open. He told you, yeah, we got a top 10 defense and we're going to have a top 10 offense too. That wasn't what we were talking about last year. And that was where I think the percentages goes heavier on them, is because, okay, you got all the best ingredients and you guys are the best cooks. The ingredients don't make the meal, the cook does. The ingredients are going to be good. When Marcus Freeman went to the farmer's market, then went to the Himalayas, then went to the depths of the oceans. Found all the best ingredients in the country. Now we just got to cook it. So I think the coordinators definitely they split a 50% of that. 25, maybe 30 and 30.
Then let me give you my breakdown, and then I'll let you go ahead and tap into it, right? Because I got individual at some spots, but then I kept it a little bit bigger instead of doing a microcosm. So I did 25 to Marcus Freeman, captain of the ship. I thought about giving him more because he is the captain of the ship. But then I stepped back. I wanted to be realistic, right? 25% Al Golden, Mike Denbrock as the coordinators. Then I have 35% I'm laying on the players. We can talk coaches all we want to.
Yeah.
The players are the one on the field. 35% for the players. Then I went individual. I'm going to put 10% on Riley Leonard.
That's
You're the quarterback at Notre Dame, my brother. Or whomever the starting quarterback in Notre Dame is. from this day moving forward.
Wait, but we said the quarterback.
Kenny Minchie, Steve Angeli, Deuce Knight, C.J. Carr.
But this year isn't about the quarterback, though. This isn't about the quarterback this year.
No, but that quarterback means something. It don't matter who's behind center. 10%, buddy. 10%.
Oh, okay. So that's just the charge that comes with 10%. It. Okay.
That's heavy is the head that wears the crown, my brother. You are the quarterback of the biggest brand in college football. Yes, pressure to perform is there. What do we say? We still sit here and talk about 4th and 1, Sam Hartman not putting his head down. Still to this day against Ohio State.
I mean, DJ Brown dropping those 2 picks too.
Okay, that's fine. DJ Brown is part of that 35%.
Yep.
I put 35% on the players, 25% on Marcus Freeman, 25% on the coordinators.
10% is a lot.
No, bruh. 10%
on that one player.
10% on that quarterback.
I think 10% is a lot for one player.
That's because you're a quarterback. I understand.
No, because
you're looking out for your boys. Understand.
Wait a minute. 2020, let's say, okay, 2012, when we went to the championship.
Okay.
You're saying that 10% was on Everett Golson in that game?
No. Him and Tommy shared that 10% because Tommy was a closer for a lot of games now.
Okay, him and Tommy. You said
him and Tommy shared that 10%.
It was more than that 10% in that championship game. It was less than 10% in that championship. 10% is saying the quarterback is winning you 5 of the 10 games by himself. And he's a Heisman. And he's
No. Now this could differ based upon the team and the structure of the program. I get where you're coming from. But as far as the way things are with Notre Dame right now, oh yeah, I'm giving 10% to the quarterback.
And this is absolutely 10% of the total success of the program.
If we were talking about Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner, that percentage would be much lower. The talent is too good in that room, bro. Talent is too good in that room.
Oh, but
it's much better than what it's been. You're not about to get me with that 5%. No. 10%. The quarterback position, that's 10%. Responsibility.
Of the total success of the season.
Heck yeah. If you want to go to me, that's low. That's very low.
If you're saying 35% players, 10 is the quarterback.
How much do you think rested on Michael Penix's shoulders last year?
Different team. That's what I'm saying. It's a different team.
That's what I said.
This is a different team than Washington.
But it's still a very important position. Because if 5%. They had a better quarterback last year, they're in the playoffs, correct?
5%. Well, yeah, last year was like 35% because we needed Sam to win 3 games. To change the program narrative,
well, he was 35%. If that's the case, you felt like he was 35%? Oh no, I think that's too much. All we needed was 15 from him. If he could have just fulfilled the 15% last year, everything would be
15% don't win. 15% don't win 3 of the biggest games that you need.
Oh, 15% would have beat Louisville and Clemson.
We're talking about Ohio State, USC, Clemson.
Dude, he lost to Ohio State.
Yes, that was 10%, right? That's a 10% game right there. That game alone was 10%.
He gave us a 10% gain. If he had given us 15%, we probably beat Ohio State.
No,
my point.
I'm saying the weight of that one game was 10%. The other 2 games is 5 apiece, at least. All right. In terms of how it means to the season, quarterback's percentage was way higher last year than this year. This year's a low percentage because of the fact that, one, it doesn't matter who we have in the room. We can be productive with the coordinator, with the talent around them, and where we are as year 3 in the program, which are 3 bigger percentages than the quarterback.
So you feel like it has lessened because of the talent acquisition around the quarterback. That's the way you feel.
Talent acquisition would be 45, and I would go quarterback 5.
All right. So once again, I have Marcus Freeman at 25% of the responsibility, coordinators at 25%, 10% on the quarterback, 35% on the players on the field to get it done, and then 5% on the young talent, because there is young talent at key positions that have to prove themselves.
But who's going to play them?
Linebackers. Say it again.
Okay, linebackers for sure,
and offensive line. I mean, that's dude.
Are you really worried about that? We probably have the biggest offensive line.
I didn't say I was worried, but I said 5% of the responsibility of them making the necessary run, that offensive line is going to have to come of age. That has importance. You can't ignore that.
No, yeah, but I thought that was included in the 35.
I think we can talk big picture as far as saying the players, but then we can get even more specific with the percentages and talk about certain groups of players that bear a certain weight. The young offensive line bears a certain weight. Some people are worried. I'm not worried because I believe in talent that consistently shows up in the offensive line at Notre Dame across multiple offensive line coaches.
Okay,
wait a minute, and just like you just said, the pressure has always been on the offensive line for years to perform, but they haven't had the talent at quarterback or at wide receiver or running back that they have this year, in our opinion. So that lessens the pressure, in my opinion, on what the offensive line has to do. This young offensive line has to stalemate. Think about this. We're not asking this young offensive line to dominate. They're going to dominate the lower teams on this schedule.
Absolutely.
We're just asking them to go into Texas A&M and just stalemate. Give the quarterback a chance. That's it, to make big plays. Give the running backs an opportunity to do their thing. That's all. Just stalemate and get better as the season goes on. That's 5% to me, bro. That's not a heavy percentage, but they bear a responsibility for the success of the season, in my opinion. You can't get around that. You just can't. The offensive line at some point has to come of age. They have to be able in November to move people off the ball and dominate to a certain aspect going into the playoffs. They have to. So that's 5% for me. Now you can go ahead and break down your percentages. How do you see it?
All right, let me get
your calculator out.
Okay, hold on.
Have your numbers.
So I got Marcus Freeman off the bat at 10%. And I think it's a crucial 10%.
Okay.
Because I believe that he's done a lot off season that has taken the brunt of the load in season, to where his 10% should be focused solely on situational football, operational.
That's a good point. Situational, like the end of Ohio State.
Where these are moments within the season, making sure you call the timeouts and we handling the halftime and the game the right way, which are moments in the season that are crucial, but not major points or the major loads.
Right.
A lot of it also includes the fact that the schedule is a training arena for Marcus Freeman to get ready for the playoffs, which is why it's a 10% for me. He just needs to manage through the regular season, the depth, timeouts, potential challenges or whatever, quarterback mental stability, this, that, and the third. That's a easier load for a guy that's put a lot of work in building what should be running as an elite program. Then I'm going to go to the coordinators because it trickles down for me.
So you got 10 for Marcus Freeman, right?
10 for Marcus Freeman.
10%. Okay.
I think 35 for Denbrock.
Just Mike Denbrock by himself.
Just Mike Denbrock himself.
Okay.
I think what he's handling, which is a good thing, but also could be a challenge, is the fact that you have a lot of people that need the football.
Mm.
And orchestrating that with the egos, with young guys getting included, quarterback situation, that's a lot to handle considering what you're riding in the Notre Dame on.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't as stable situation as LSU was, where you're like, okay, I got some dudes that are clear number ones, quarterback situations stable. I've worked with these guys for a year. This is year 2. I'm just building on top of it. You're coming to Notre Dame where talent may be at that level or greater. It's untapped potential. But you got to put it together in a year of expectation. You don't have we're just figuring it out, putting it together, learning each other.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is you coming out 35, 40 points a game. Not only you said it yourself, but that's what we're looking at for a year 3 place where you're coming back home. You already know the landscape. So you already have a set list of things that you don't have as excuses. This isn't a new place for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in with high expectations. You just had a great year, but you're building a program building an offense that's learning a new system with a new quarterback that hasn't been with you until the summer, really, in terms of a rep experience. You got to figure out how to activate a receiving game that many people haven't been able to do over the years. And some of that you was a part of. Who do you make the X factor of the offense? You got a young offensive line. So there's many things that can go wrong. But you seem to be the man for the job. So that's why the man fits the description. So his weight on making this work, making it be the bully. He's a part of why the bully is the bully. Defense been good. The defense been good for some years. But in order for us to be the bully as the team, we got to be packing a punch. That's where the bully comes in. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Defense been holding and holding and holding. We got great defensive skills. Now we got to start punching people in the face, which is why the offensive coordinator has a huge responsibility. It can be the difference. Look at Todd Monken. He got Brock Bowers, a 3-4-time All-American, carrying the ball, catching the ball, running with the ball, punting the ball, throwing the ball, because he's using his best players in the best times. So, yeah, that's a heavyweight that Denbrock has solely because he's running everything. It's not like our last coordinator and where he was delegating responsibilities and asking guys for questions and opinions and this community support on how we call it all. This Denbrock said, this is my system. I'm coming in here, running my stuff. You just seen how we put up 5 million yards on offense down there with Kelly. Guys got to come in, they learning fast, they adapting. But we need some continuity at quarterback. So yeah, we got recruiting handled. I gotta manage a lot as Denbrock. You probably got some sleepless nights. Because as easy as it sounds like a lot of things you got to make happen to make it easy. So I do think that
so that's 45% you've given away. You 10% Marcus Freeman, 35% Mike Denbrock. You still got some pie left.
I think 10 is on Al Golden for a maintaining situation.
Okay.
He just gotta ride the wave. Don't let the boat turn over.
Well, it's his way.
It's his, as I'm saying, he didn't put the cake in the oven. He just gotta sit there and make sure he don't burn it. Just it said 40 minutes, let that thing rest on the windowsill for about 10. You got to make sure you follow the directions. Because it's already, you already baked the cake, it's already good flavor. You didn't have the kids lick the spoon because they know it's gonna come out the right way. It's gonna come out the right way. So you just got 10 of maintaining. You got some first round guys, award winners, young superstar talent. His job should be, let's coast our way to get to this playoff. So we at what, 55?
You're at 55, bro.
I'm gonna give 5 to strength and conditioning. Strength and conditioning is 5 because we need to maintain health and maintain speed.
That's a good point.
I learned a lot from Adam Archuleta was telling me about how, like,
oh, that's what's up. Yeah, his son plays for your squad out there, right?
His son's nice. He's just a little small, but he's nice.
Jet Archuleta?
Jet Archuleta's real. He got all like his dad, he's just a little small.
Did he camp at the Irish Invasion?
I don't know if Jet did, but he's gonna be ready.
A kid on your squad did go to the Irish Invasion.
Yeah, right? Justin Fisher. His sister plays for the soccer team.
Right, Justin Fisher, right.
But Adam Archuleta said to be fast, you gotta train fast. So in order for us to train fast, we gotta maintain speed 2 to 3 times a week, running our max velocity. It's the only way you build the neurons and synapses to connect to keep you fast. If you start elongating that process with a bunch of conditioning, a bunch of running mountains and all type of crazy stuff, it's gonna make you slow. It also leads to more injury. So let's just, as a smart university, let's be smart about how we keep our kids healthy and fast. So that's 5%.
Okay, so you're at 60. You still have 40% left. Malik is breaking down. I've already given my piece of the pie as far as responsibility to get to the next level for the Notre Dame football program in 2024. Malik has given 10% to Marcus Freeman, 35% to Mike Denbrock, 10% to Al Golden, and 5% to strength and conditioning. All right, Left. I'm waiting for you to get to the players. You got 40% left, and you haven't mentioned one player.
I got 20% to the players.
Okay.
20% to the players because we have depth. And if we just do our job, get the young guys ready, we should be right where we should be ready for the playoffs. 20% because we're not the underdog in any circumstance. Now, when we get to the playoffs, I would raise the percentage of the players and we would redo the whole thing. But for a regular season beauty pageant contest, we just got to do what we need to do to win. And I think that we have the depth and the talent where everybody can eat. And we still, go out there and do what we're supposed to do. I don't think there's a generational, once in a lifetime individual on the team necessarily. But I do think we have a really good football team with a lot of potential pros. So I think that as a unit, 20% is great because that means you just doing your job, meeting expectations, and winning games. 20% left. I got
20% left, bro.
5 for the quarterback because a quarter of the production gotta have 5 of that percent be the quarterback being the manager of all of that. Because you're an extension of them, bro. Denbrock's cooking up the plan. You got to go out there and serve the plates. And you got to make sure that translates to the team. But like we said, this season isn't necessarily falling on the quarterback because of everybody included. We got a team that we can win on the ground. We got a team that if we dispense the ball the right way, we're not necessarily having to only throw it deep. We can do anything we want on offense.
I don't want to hear that we can win on the ground stuff, dog. I'm tired of that.
I'm saying as we can run the ball, not.
Dude, but when has Notre Dame not been able to run the ball?
Right.
I mean,
but that's
you have individual years when you say, oh, they struggled, the offensive line wasn't as good. But I mean, historically, for 40 years.
Now remember, we're talking about regular season. None of these games we need the quarterback to go in the telephone.
See, I'm talking about for the season. I didn't talk about this regular season. This is about the entire getting over the hump. This is not just
getting over the hump, but getting over the hump has changed to a whole different dynamic. That's playoffs. Regular season.
My point. So you're giving 5% for them to be able to win playoff games. You're putting 5%
because there's not one game in the regular season where the quarterback got to turn to Superman. There's not one. In the playoffs, that's why we had to redo the percentages in the playoffs because it is heavier on the players. Regular season.
Ladies and gentlemen, see, my partner is slick. I already know what he's doing. He's already setting up the shift of the goalpost come playoff time. He's setting it up. He's setting it up. He's going to shift his percentages once the playoffs hit.
It's literally a different season, though. Can you agree to that? You got to play 4 games to win a championship.
Dude, the exercise, the conversation we're having is about Notre Dame getting over the hump. We literally said there is nothing in the regular season that fits that narrative. There is no win in the regular season.
Okay, then let's just jump straight to playoffs.
Yeah, we've been talking. I was on playoffs when I was.
Oh, okay. You were talking. Okay.
I was on playoffs. We already said we prefaced the conversation by saying there is no win on the 2024 schedule that could equal what the win against Ohio State would have done last year. That type of win doesn't exist. You get that in the playoffs.
Okay, so then if this is playoff grades, it's easy. We got 25% for the quarterback.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A quarter of the playoffs is the quarterback.
Okay. So you go higher. Okay.
25% is on the guy.
Okay.
Taking the snap.
All right.
30% is on the players.
Okay. That's 55% right there. Now this is inverse of your regular season talk. Go ahead.
25% on Marcus Freeman.
25 on Coach Freeman. That went up 15%. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So where we at? We at 80?
Yeah. Right now you're at 80. Yeah. You're pretty. That's Notre Dame. You did pretty good in math class in Notre Dame, boy.
And then 10 and 10 for the coordinators.
Okay. That's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple.
Okay, so you had 25% for Marcus Freeman, 20% total for the coordinators, 10 apiece. You got 25% for the quarterback and then 30% for the players. Okay.
That's the formula for success.
Okay.
Quarterback being 25. What 25 is made up of is the two games for the championship, like the game before the championship and the championship game, and crucial moments in the 2 games leading up to that. The star of the show is the championship game, and the game before the championship game got to be the quarterback. That's what 25% get. And the 2 games before that are the crucial third downs, situational moments. He's got to make a play, throw a guy open, put his team in position. 25% gets you that, but those are dudes. The Bryce Youngs, the CJs, the Trevors, the Shauns, the Jamesons. He's the impact going into the game, the X factor. I haven't seen a championship team that hadn't had an X factor at quarterback. J.J. McCartney may be the only outlier, but every other team, the quarterback was the dude.
Quarterback was pretty important in the playoffs last year.
That I can remember. I mean, hell, Quinn Ewers, top 10 pick next year. Michael Penix was a top 10 pick this year. J.J. McCarthy was a top 10 pick this year. Carson, who was it? Jalen Milroe, maybe not, but that's why they ain't win. Quarterback got to be star to show semi and final games.
Yeah. That's a good point.
30% players got to play. 30% the ones got to be ones. No more rotating. No more bunch of subs. The ones got to show out. Which you got to raise that level of play. As opposed to regular season where you're building up, trying to peak for the playoffs. Working on your moves and techniques, dominating early teams, learning game planning and getting better at different things like that. But playoffs, you got to be ready to go. So that's why the raise of those percentages are where they at. And then the coordinators, which were heavier in the regular season because they got to set the plan in place. Because after about that 10th, 11th game, all right, we know the play. The plays are plays. The plays are the plays. Now, how we execute goes on those players. So, Marcus Freeman being 25, that's where he got to shine. He got, what was it? Nick Saban called that timeout against Georgia. That's some elite coaching. Because he knew they was going to do the fake. Scared him away from the fake. Only elite coaching knows some stuff like that.
Yeah. Lucky pod. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's where Marcus Freeman's got to succeed.
Just to recap, both of us gave our percentages on responsibility and who bears responsibility for Notre Dame being able to get over the hump in 2024 and change that narrative nationally about the program. My percentage breakdown was 25% Marcus Freeman, 25% coordinators, 10% on the quarterback, and then 35% on the players, and then 5% on the young players, the first-time starters that have to get better, specifically at offensive line and linebacker moving into the playoffs.
Think about that Alabama-Georgia game.
From last year?
From 2 years ago, last year, when they ever had that good Georgia defense.
Yes, when Bryce Young lit them up. Is that the game you're talking about?
No, the game. The game, I think it was a championship game where it was like a stalemate.
Yes, because they played. That was the rematch.
The game after,
they played
the
SEC championship game, then they played in the national championship.
But it was all type of good calls going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah, it's a good play, but they're matching hat for hat. But it was just one or two plays made by players and the quarterback where, coordinators only went so far. So you get to the championship game like that, that's where special players are made. So that's why the coordinator factors in top games.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like the other side is good too.
Yeah. So your breakdown was 25 to Marcus Freeman, 10 and 10 to the coordinators. Then you had 25% on the quarterback. Then you gave 30% to the players. That was your breakdown. So it's put up, shut up time. 2024 from Marcus Freeman in this program. That's pretty much it, man. They get it going. I see people in the chat talking about, once again, let me give clarity. We didn't say there wasn't any big games on the schedule. There are no national narrative changing games on this schedule. Notre Dame has beaten Florida State before. They've done that. We're talking about things they have not done. They have not beaten Ohio State. They have not beaten Georgia. They have not beaten in Alabama. Those are the wins that people are waiting to see to say Notre Dame has taken the next step. Beating Florida State doesn't say anything about that. You just whooped up on Florida State the last time Mike Norvell walked into the stadium. Heck, you've beaten DJ as a quarterback. You whooped up on him. Ben Morrison had 2 interceptions and a pick 6 against him, or against Clemson. One against DJ, the other against Cade Klubnik. That's beating Florida State isn't doing that. Can Florida State be an undefeated, one-loss team, highly ranked, and it's still a big game on the landscape of 2024? Yes. But there is no narrative-changing win about this program on the regular season schedule. That can only take place in the playoffs this year. They had an opportunity against Ohio State in the regular season last year. They couldn't get it done. I mean, right there, 2 years in a row, right there on the precipice of getting it done against Ohio State, and just couldn't get it done. Just couldn't get it done. So now, 2024, we have to wait to the playoffs. We have to make it to the playoffs. I think they will. Pro Football Focus and their people are smoking. Whatever they're smoking, it will sell really good on the streets. Whatever they're smoking, it would sell like crazy on the streets. 8 wins, stop. And this isn't even what if Riley Leonard goes down? Okay, what if he does go down? They're still going to win more than 8 games. Heck, Left, you got Alabama winning 8 games, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alabama's at a 7-win team, 8-win team next year. And that's in respect to Nick Saban. You think Kalen DeBoer is going to roll in there and win 10, 11 games? Huh? See, you can't even say that. So I don't know how, you get to your number.
What do you mean? I didn't even give you a number. I just said they're not losing 5 games. You're the one that placed the bet. I'm the house.
5 is a number. 5 is a number.
You said
so. If I subtract that from the season,
you said they're losing 5 games. Did you not?
Yes.
I said they're not. I don't have to have a number. As long as they don't lose 5 games, I win the bet.
So what you got that record? I don't get it.
I don't need to give a record. They're not losing 5 games. See, that's a smart betting man.
Are they making the playoffs?
That's a smart betting man. That's not part of the bet, love. We're not.
I'm asking outside of the bet. Are they making the playoffs?
They play Georgia in the regular season. I think they play Texas again.
Go ahead. Yeah,
that's a tough one. I don't have to make that bet though. I know they're not losing 5 games.
We're not betting. We just talking.
I know they're not losing 5 games. I know that.
So I just want to know who they.
That's one of the easiest bets I've ever made.
Yeah. I just want to know who they're beating.
They're gonna beat their fair share of teams in the SEC.
Yeah, of course. Beat Mr. General. Because Sean knows. That's right, Will C. Sean knows.
What do I know? You're the one that made the bad bet. Stepping out on the limb, weighing.
It's not a bad bet when you agree.
200 and you weigh 250. I mean, that's on you.
It's not a bad bet when you agree. You agree that they're gonna lose 5 games because you can't tell me how many they're gonna win.
I do not.
Tell me. Okay.
Do you want me to sit here and look at their schedule as we get ready to talk about this recruiting weekend that just took place, or week that just took place. You
That's
want me to
all I
pull
want.
up that schedule?
That's
what
all I
you
want.
Yeah, that's all you want. I knew that's what you wanted. You wanted to go game by game.
Because you're going to look at that and don't lie.
Wait. First of all, they're going to be 3-0 going up against Georgia. They face Georgia September 28th. Their first 3 games, they play Western Kentucky, South Florida, and Wisconsin.
Now, they did almost lose to South Florida last year.
Left. Stop. Unfortunately, South Florida's coming to Alabama this year. It's not a way.
They came to Alabama last year.
No, they played at South Florida last year. They played on the road in that game.
Don't matter.
Left. Now you're being delusional. You really think South Florida is about to beat Alabama this year?
Hey, it was close last year.
All right. So they're going to lose to Georgia. Georgia's going to beat Alabama.
One loss. That's one loss.
That's Georgia at Alabama. That's one, man.
It's a great game.
That's the same day as Notre Dame and Louisville. That's going to be a great day.
That's going to be a great weekend.
That's going to be a great weekend of football right there. September 28th. Lock it in.
And that's early, too.
Left.
Come on, let's go.
They're going to be 5-1 going into the October 19th matchup against Tennessee. They're going to be 5-1.
Okay? Oh, stop. You missed the loss in that.
I'm about to give you a shot. I'm about to give you a shot. No, I'm about to be realistic and give you a shot. I'm going to win the bet, but I'm going to play along just for you. Just for you. After they play Georgia, they're going to lose to Georgia and be 3-1, in my opinion. They play Vanderbilt next. That's a win.
Okay, that's a win. Okay. I don't know. Josh Adams got them running backs right. Shout out Josh Adams over at Vanderbilt. He got them running backs going to be right.
Here we go. They have South Carolina. They have South Carolina after that. They're going to be 5-1.
Oh, I don't know.
Left, are you kidding me? So South Carolina. Left, you don't even respect Beamer Ball. You need to stop. You need to stop, Left. If South Carolina was coming into Notre Dame Stadium next year, you would have Notre Dame winning by 20. Tell the truth.
We're a different team. We're a different team.
You Left.
We are a different team.
Man, this is comic relief, though. Stick up for your narrative. I like that. Stick up for your narrative. Stick up for your crystal ball. I like it. 5-1 headed to Knoxville. That right there could definitely be their second loss.
Absolutely.
No question. Jalen Milroe against Nico Amaliva. Then after that, they go on the Missouri comes to Alabama.
Ooh, and Missouri not nothing to play with.
Left. Missouri has lost a lot on defense, bro. Come on, stop.
They have, but the transfer portal's alive and well.
They're not going to stop Alabama's offense, bro. They're not. They're going to put up points.
Isaiah
They're
Bond
going to put up points. Left. You know darn well Alabama's going to line up and run Jalen Milroe all day. What are you talking about?
Caleb, that's not Caleb DeBoer's offense, though.
They're going to be 6-2 after the Missouri game. Now,
okay, 6-2.
6-2 heading into the matchup with LSU.
Ooh, Brian Kelly in the A. Hey.
Left. You're really about to take Brian Kelly over Kalen DeBoer. That's what we're doing.
Brian Kelly's defense is gonna be nice next year, though.
Who has the better quarterback going into that game? Who's gonna have the better defense going into that game, Left?
LSU might have a better defense next year.
Left.
They got that number. They got the DN, the number one player. Or number 40.
You're about to talk about one player whose defense is going to be better next year.
I don't know, Coach Kelly. Coach Kelly ain't nothing to play with down there.
Okay, Left.
Because it's at LSU, right? It's at LSU, right?
Yeah, it's at LSU. I'll give you that.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. And so I have them 7-2. You have them 6-3. They play Mercer the next week. So they're going to be 8-2.
Okay.
Then they play Oklahoma. I don't believe in Oklahoma. Left, stop. Don't even try to fix yourself up. Don't even try. You don't
Wait
believe
a minute.
Oklahoma like
Wait
left,
a minute.
ladies and gentlemen. And then they finish up against Auburn. Stop. Left, stop.
Wait a minute. Wait
Stop.
a minute. You telling me
What are we waiting for?
Oklahoma's nothing to what?
Oklahoma with a first-time starting quarterback is not about to beat Alabama. It's going to be a close game, but I'm still taking Alabama.
We got a lot of faith in Jalen Milroe this year, man.
I'm just saying, what we talk about, defense, I will say this. That's a matchup with the Oklahoma defense. I think it's going to be a nice low-scoring game. I do, and it's at Oklahoma. So it's a possible loss. I'm not saying it's a definite win. That's a possible loss.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
My point is, even if they lose the last 2 games against Oklahoma and Auburn, that's only 4 losses.
Well, you're not giving any credit to the good old Brian Winning's all-time coach at Notre Dame history, Kelly.
Yes, and yet he's still not a top 5 head coach in Notre Dame history. All-time wins and still wouldn't even be in the top 5. We come back, man. Let's get into some recruiting. And talk about Notre Dame moving forward. A lot of questions. Chat is lit talking about the wide receiver room, wide receiver recruiting. We'll get to it on the other side. Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know. We spin it.
Different.
Oh, okay, there you go.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Lucky Lefty podcast, Sean Davis, Malik Zaire back at it. Hiatus. Update you guys on what's been going on. Left, you've been doing some crazy things out there as we're brought to you by Nora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Subscribe on YouTube, Lucky Lefty podcast. Hit the thumbs up. Leave your comments. We respond to all. And then Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation, audio edibles each and every day. Lock in with us over there as well. We're getting ready to talk about recruiting. We'll lock in on the wide receiver room. We might play some film because we have some preferences. We'll get to those. But Left, I'll start it off, man. Hectic week last week for myself. Man, playing Dadiger. I have a new title, Left.
That's right.
Dadiger. A lot of people, when their kids graduate, you know, you have to worry about them coming back home, finding a job, getting into the marketplace, starting to build their life. Same thing for us, right? May, baby girl graduates and things are just taking off, man. There is a huge blessing that she's received that I can't publicly talk about, but God is good. I'll just leave it at that, man. God is absolutely amazing.
That's right.
Absolutely amazing. Have you ever prayed over your child, over your sons, and they're small, but this day is coming. Like, you pray a prayer and then you live in it, it manifests.
That's right.
That's where we're at as a family. So God is absolutely amazing. It's kind of pulled me away. I've been a daddy-ger over the last couple of weeks. My wife has been a mommy-ger and a whole lot of other things. She's already booked her first professional theater gig. this fall out there in LA. They might end up taking the show to New York. God is good, bro. God is good, man. He's faithful. Hey, I don't care what you believe in. You can't take me off my square. I'm gonna talk about my God. He's absolutely amazing. Continues to show me just how good he is. Has tears flowing down my face on multiple occasions. And to top it off, she just released her first single. Her first single.
Yeah, there we go.
On Ari, Where You Been. Independent. She's independent. Her own production label, her own everything. Yeah, her first single, Her. It's entitled Her. It's absolutely fantastic, bro. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so it's available on all DSPs. Ari Camille, Her. Available now on digital streaming platforms, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. She did it on her own, bro. She paid for it, paid for the production team, paid for her own photo shoot. Hey, man. Yo, as a parent, you get to this point left, and you're like, all right, let's see how this goes. We got through high school, we got through college. Let's see how this adult thing goes. And then look, next thing you know, God proves himself again, man. So, man, that's why you haven't seen me. Left last week, you were out there making the boys sweat, coaching them hard.
Yeah, all of that. Got to. Love being a part of that,
So yeah, hey, she's living her dream. I'm living my dream. Shoot,
that's right. Especially seeing it blow up like that on Spotify. She on Spotify, okay.
Oh, she's on everything: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Tidal. Man, she's there, dude. She's there. I told her the other day. Yo, I think you should, 2 things you can do every day that makes you feel really good, bro.
What's that?
Laugh and cry. Laugh and cry. I shed a tear just thinking about how good God is sometimes, bro.
Hell yeah.
I'm not crying because something's wrong. Just think about your boys, bro. Just think about your boys. Just really start thinking about your 2 boys and tell me you don't get emotional. You said you've been extra emotional lately anyway, the older you get.
That's right. That's right.
Man, it's too much in life, man. Even with all the distractions and everything going on, man, it's too much in life. Just feel absolutely amazing about it. Too many good things to think of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm at. So I apologize for being away from you guys last week, but I had good reason. Very good reason. Yeah, Ari, A-R-I, Camille, C-A-M-I-L-L. Yeah. Yeah, she has a track called, she wrote that track. She recorded Strawberry when she was 16.
Wow, 16.
Yeah. She was 16. She did that like junior year of high school. Dang. So, man, hopefully we're going to be thanking God for a national championship come January, bro. I want everybody in Notre Dame Nation to have tears flowing down their eyes or to be jumping crazy around the crib or in that stadium. Hey, that's what I'm hoping for. And then we can come back and laugh at the rest of college football. Just laugh. Like, oh, man. Told you it was coming. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Recruiting, wide receiver room. Left, what's been the hold up in the wide receiver room, in your opinion, in recruiting? Has it been the quarterback room? Has it been coaching, coordinating? Break it down for us. As an offensive coordinator yourself,
I think it's been a little bit of everything, honestly. You know, a little bit of just the quarterback play hasn't been sexy enough. I think for top recruits, when you talk to them, they definitely acknowledge the fact that they have confidence that the quarterback can get them the ball. I think a little bit of it is the coordinator. They haven't seen a receiver being highlighted to where they can see themselves as being a top guy going into the draft like we used to have, like a Will Fuller or Michael Floyd, T.J. Jones. You know, then you got to think, okay, well, the receiver room. I haven't heard anything at a receiver room on an individual level. I'm looking up stats, and Charlie Jones is outpacing the entire room. That doesn't give me the confidence that I can go over there and make a difference if they got a room full of quote unquote studs that can't, you know, outgain this guy. So then you got to look towards many different factors. You're not seeing Notre Dame being in the streamline of a recruiting service for top receivers anyway. You don't see top receivers with Notre Dame in their top 10, top 5 in on a regular basis, especially when you talk about 5-star receivers. Notre Dame is nowhere to be mentioned. So that's an issue. Then you go to the coaching. Well, you know, you're rotating through many different receiver positions, coaches, and guys coming in and out and not staying a long time. And so, you know, who are they going to get better from when they get there? Is it a guy that got moved to receiver coach because, you know, we're doing other things, or, you know, what the case may be? But I do think that there's many factors that include it, but I think a big part is recruits don't have confidence at the quarterback position that can get them the football.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Those are things, the Charlie Jones thing, that's just 2 seasons ago, where literally he put up more production than the entire wide receiver room in Notre Dame, which is absolutely insane, right? In order to get explosiveness, they had to go get a walk-on, bring him over to the active roster, and then bring Chris Tyree from the running back room to the wide receiver room. I mean, these are just the facts, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people applaud the recruitment of the previous wide receiver coach and what he brought in Enrico Flores, Jaden Greathouse, Braylon James, in that class. You know what else he couldn't do? He could not unleash and unlock the talents of the most explosive player they had, Tobias Merriweather. See, so there was a trend. It seemed to be a trend that the explosive players didn't get love at Notre Dame, whether in recruiting or in development. Somehow, some way, players that were explosive couldn't get love. I don't know what that was all about, but the slower players seemed to get love, and there was some redundancy. Bigger players at the wide receiver position, there was focus placed upon that, but they all pretty much did the same thing. And you had to go get the smaller guys. Not Dylan Faison, but Jordan Faison. His brother Dylan is committing the 26th class. And then Chris Tyree from the running back room. So now Old is out. Mike Brown's the new wide receiver coach, right? And people are asking, oh man, Jerome Bettis Jr., same thing, not explosive. Some people are then asking, Lil Plax, Elijah Burris, same thing. Pretty good route runner. Gets separation on film, but explosiveness, maybe not so much. What leads us to what's left on the board, right?
Yeah.
You have the Robinson kid from out there in California.
Yeah.
Tanuke Hines out of Houston, who you absolutely love, Left. You absolutely love this kid. Then you have Derek Meadows, Bishop Gorman, Las Vegas. I'm just going to start with those 3. And then John Anthony Hall, local kid, Indiana kid, man, has the best production stats from high school, has the best production of all of the guys left on the board. Flat out. I'm going to say this, Left. All of those guys in their own ways are explosive.
Yeah, in their own way.
In their own way. I do like that. I don't know. Look, I haven't been in meetings with Mike Brown and Mike Denbrock. I will say this, that the wide receiver position has been a collaborative effort. I've talked to several 2026 offensive players that will tell you that they have relationships with their position coach in the contact, but they also talk to other offensive coaches as well. So when Notre Dame says that their efforts from a recruiting standpoint are collaborative, from a recruiting standpoint, I'll give you an example. Nasir Rankin, 4-star Chicago wide receiver 2026, had a great performance at the Irish Invasion. Notre Dame just wants to see his film this year. He's talked to Geno, he's talked to Marcus Freeman, and he's also spoken to Mike Brown. Mike Brown is the one that did due diligence in talking to his former head coach because he's transferred schools here in Chicago. So he did the groundwork. Geno was talking to his current head coach and him as well. And he talked to both at the Irish Invasion during the camp. So for me, the wide receiver room, I think it's being shaped by Mike Denbrock and what he sees. I'm not so sure that was the case before Mike Denbrock arrived. So when Mike Brown gets the job, they're preparing for the Sun Bowl. His main focus is really getting into development, which most people, regardless of who they played, the wide receiver room played better than they played all season long in that Sun Bowl, in my opinion. Especially if you just look at the route running and the urgency they ran the routes and the purpose they ran the routes with. Definitely saw a decided difference. Marcus Freeman said he told Mike Brown, no, come in hard. Don't sit back and let them play the way they've been playing. No, come in and coach. And that's exactly what he did. So now he goes in, he's evaluating, but he's evaluating pretty much on his own, right? But he's evaluating according to the plan of the ex-offensive coordinator.
Right.
Mike Denbrock comes in. Now Mike Denbrock is like, no, this is what I'm going to need to cook this. These are the ingredients I need to cook this gumbo. Right? Now, I think you start to see a little bit different evaluation. I think you start to see more explosiveness in different forms. Canute Hines is more Malik Neighbors. Derek Meadows is more of the Thomas kid that just got drafted, taller, rangier. And then the Robinson kid is just like, man, he's like a Lacey. Not as big as Meadows, not as small as Canute Hines, but man, this kid runs a 4.4 at his size. And it's like when you watch his film, it doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but he's just creating separation and running by guys. So that's what I'm talking about. You start to see explosiveness in the evaluation and the recruiting. Now, the actual recruiting. All of the receivers visited Notre Dame last week. All of them. This is what I'll say, Left. Canute Hines, your guy, out of the state of Texas, and Notre Dame has had recent history and recent success in the state of Texas. I think his last official visit coming up is Baylor. USC and Texas seem to be the main competitors for his services. I don't think USC is really a threat at this point. I think Notre Dame has had a meteoric rise and impact on him. I think they are the program at the forefront of his mind right now. Right? They are the present. Texas has always been there. He's a Texas kid, right? Texas has always been there. Speed is crazy. This kid runs like he might be threatening like low 4.3s. If you look at his high school times, right? His high school time as a junior, he's setting state records, right? I think Ryan Roberts told me, or Brian Driscoll mentioned that he has already run a faster 100 and 200 times than Troy Pride ran at Notre Dame in college. He's already done that in high school. That just lets you know how fast he is. But I really think Notre Dame is very present right now and very much a threat to Texas. Very much a threat to take Texas. Texas is probably going to tell him, you're the next Xavier Worthy for us. Probably. That's an easy sell, right?
And they got Dia Bell.
Absolutely. Dia Bell just committed. But for me, Left, what evens things out, along with how Notre Dame has quickly made an impact, and he has plenty of Texas kids that can speak to him and tell them about their success at Notre Dame, is the fact that Mike Denbrock entered the fray. Because of Steve Sarkisian, in my opinion, was a big advantage for Texas in offensive recruiting. I mean, look, Notre Dame tried to get James Simon. They made an imprint on him. Eventually, he lands at Texas. Why? Look, it's Steve Sarkisian. He sells running backs, and running backs is very successful in his offense. Running the ball and catching the ball. So I think Tanook Hines eventually has a great chance to land at Notre Dame. This is where Mike Brown proves his worth. The ability to close, along with Mark Freeman.
Yeah.
Dylan Robinson. Dylan Robinson's another kid. You talk about a kid that is a Notre Dame fit. It comes down to Notre Dame UCLA, Left. Notre Dame UCLA. He goes on his UCLA visit, right? Who's there? Rico Flores, Left. Could Rico Flores negatively recruit on this young man's official visit? Absolutely. Absolutely he can. Absolutely he can. Absolutely he can. Deshaun Foster, he's building momentum out there in the LA area, but they're still the second school out there. They're still behind USC. So there's a newness and a freshness to that UCLA program. I don't know who's going to play quarterback. Like Dante Moore left, went to Oregon. So, yeah, we'll see. But I feel good about where they stand with Dylan Robinson. His UCLA visit's coming up. Notre Dame did a fantastic job with him on his visit. And he fits Notre Dame. He is the quintessential, okay, everything about him says Notre Dame. Tanook Hines, you know, you have to get over that Texas kid in Texas and what they're doing. And that, for me, is going to be a battle all the way to December. I don't care if he makes a decision right now in the next couple of weeks. You're going to have to fight off Texas.
That's right.
Until signing day, in my opinion. Lucky Lefty podcast. Then we talk about Derek Meadows out of Bishop Gorman. Upside. 6'5", can run 50-50 balls, competitive. What's not to love? 6'5", 215. Well, what's not to love? Well, what's not to love is you're waiting to see production.
Yep.
Upside is amazing. I'm waiting to see production. I need him to dominate. I need him to be the number one guy at Bishop Gorman, a national program that's going to have a pretty good quarterback. I need him to dominate against a pretty good national schedule. That's what I need to see. Do I want him in the class? You're darn right. He's 6'5", 215. What are you talking about? And can run. You're darn right. And Washington wanted him. The Washington offensive staff wanted him. Well, Washington knows how to recruit wide receivers, ladies and gentlemen. There's two positions they know how to recruit. Defensive backs and wide receivers. Flat out. I'm sold.
Flat out.
Was he sold on Notre Dame? We'll see. The same staff that led for him at Washington, seemingly a lot of people feel like they lead for him now at Alabama. Notre Dame, Alabama. Could some other schools come into the picture? It's possible, but right now it seems to be a Notre Dame, Alabama. This is another one of those situations left where Notre Dame gets an opportunity to stalk a big prey. Look Alabama in the eye and win this. Send a message in recruiting. Marcus Freeman, Mike Denbrock, Mike Brown, the entire staff. This isn't just on Mike Brown. You don't get elite kids just with one person. The head coach has to be involved. The position coach has to be involved. The offensive coordinator needs to be involved. The love they showed this young man, Deuce night on campus for all of these wide receivers last week, that shows you how committed he is. Shout out to Deuce as he goes out to California to put on a show in the Elite 11 this upcoming weekend. But absolutely, Left. Absolutely. I am looking forward to seeing whether or not Notre Dame can put together a class of 2 of these young men. That's bare minimum. You need 2 of these young men that visited last week to commit to Notre Dame. Bare minimum, 2. Bare minimum.
Yeah, at least.
20 Saldate, your guy Gilbert that you love, Cam Williams, KK Smith, who redshirted. You got both of the Faisons coming. I mean, the explosiveness is going to uptick this year. I think the coaching, once again, just the flat out coaching and development is already better. My opinion. Simply my opinion. Coaching and development is already better, right? The addition of the guys from the transfer portal plus the depth means you won't have redundancy in the room. So if someone's injured, you won't have someone playing out of place. Everyone can stay in their place. That's another thing I'm liking about this roster and this wide receiver room moving forward. But it's no question, bro. No question. There's a lot to be left. There's a lot left that needs to be done in recruiting at the wide receiver position. You can't hide this. No one's hiding from this. You're darn right. It's a lot to prove right now. It's a lot to prove. But if you're going to have success, you're going to have great things, hard things, and small things. You're going to have to be able to deal with all 3. Yeah, it's hard coming into a situation like Notre Dame, transitioning, coming off the departure of young men that are talented, going to other schools via the transfer portal, coming in and having to hit the road and coach kids up that you don't have a relationship going into a bowl game, and then having to switch from one methodology of an offensive coordinator to another offensive coordinator and his vision that might shift your recruiting and shift the evaluation. All of that can be true. But at the end of the day, get them into the school, get them interested. I will say this. The top kids are coming on visits. The fact that Tanuk Hines, who they got on late, actually came in to visit twice, says a lot. And I think it says a lot about Mike Brown, in my honest opinion. Because that's the job of the positional coach, to get these top talented kids to actually take visits. Mike Brown has been able to do that. I'll give him credit for that. But when you talk about kids like Meadows and you talk about kids like Tanuk Hines, and you're going up against Alabama and you're going up against Texas, both schools have a history of developing NFL talented receivers and getting them in the first round. Hey, it's an uphill battle because you don't have that in your back pocket as Notre Dame. You don't have that in your back pocket. So we'll see. But they definitely need 2 of the 4. And then John Anthony Hall, I don't want to make this. He's the 3 spots, 4 kids. And all 4 kids are good players. 3 spots, 4 kids. I would love for them. Someone said Dylan Robinson, who also plays safety. Yeah, move him over to safety and then take John Anthony Hall. But John Anthony Hall can play. He can play.
Yeah, he can play. Yeah.
Taylor was never Taylor is he's not a Notre Dame. I'm not even say that's disrespectful because he's a very solid kid. They didn't get him because Taylor never wanted to be in the Midwest. He's just one of them Chicago kids. He didn't want it. No. And for him, it was always about the Georgias, the Alabamas, he's built a certain way. He's built a certain way. And I respect him because he's his own man. Like literally his mother let him kind of lead the way in his recruitment. And he was very upfront about where he wanted to go. Very upfront. And I can't even put Notre Dame has no blame in that. There was really nothing they could do about that. Nothing you can do. You have a kid that grows up, identifies that's where I want to go. These are the schools that I really want to go to. And that's what it came down to. And he was definitive. He didn't wait. He shut it down. He took his OV to Georgia, and that was it. He shut it down. Like, I'm not taking official visits. I'm ready to commit. I'm done. That's it. So
that's it.
You tip your cap. Jameer Joseph. He visited last week, the defensive back from Notre Dame. He was in a tough situation, but he committed to Penn State after his official visit this past weekend. He committed on yesterday, so he's off the board. Ivan Taylor. This, ladies and gentlemen, look, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we spent a lot of time talking about it on a recruiting hour. Ryan Roberts talks to the young man and his family. I'm not buying that it's simply Chris O'Leary is no longer at Notre Dame. I'm not buying that. That's a nice off-ramp. It made it very easy to use that, in my opinion, when I think he always had doubts. Not that he didn't like Notre Dame or doesn't love Notre Dame still to this day, but I just always think that he was at a point where a lot of other schools, Alabama was in flux. There's been a lot of transition this offseason in college football. Michigan was in flux, right? So basically, he took a visit to Alabama, and he's taking an official visit to Michigan coming up. Those are two schools. Those are two schools that were in transition, which made it real easy for him to feel like, yo, I have a great relationship with Chris O'Leary. I'm going to go ahead and commit. Chris O'Leary leaves. He always wanted to go and check out those two schools. It didn't just happen overnight. Those two schools just had a lot of turnover and transition during the offseason. Caleb Downs leaves Alabama. Is there an opportunity that I could go there and play quick? Because Caleb Downs won't be there for another 2 years. I mean, it's a lot of things that happen. The same thing, Michigan loses its starting safety. Another safety transfers out. So now opportunity, and those are two schools he was interested in from the beginning. So he kind of let the dust settle. The coaching staffs came back, and they came after him, and now he's visiting. But I think he always had interest in those two schools. I just think the flux and the transition of the offseason left an open door for him to feel like, man, let me go ahead and commit to Notre Dame. And I truly believe he likes Notre Dame, loves Notre Dame. But now he's doubling back on his decision to make sure.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think
that's okay.
The Chris O'Leary departures, was the perfect cover for the fact that what really happened was he wasn't too sure about the other two schools that he was interested in because of their off-season transition, and Notre Dame was a more stable situation.
That's it.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, as far as Notre Dame staying, Notre Dame, but look, this is once again, you have to be able to stalk the big prey. This is Notre Dame in recruiting, having opportunities with multiple players to stare Alabama down and stare Michigan down and get commitments. This is big boy recruiting. This is what you've been wanting from Notre Dame. You've been wanting a coaching staff that is not lazy, that's willing to go after the big fish. Well, this comes with it. This comes with it. Here it is. This is rarefied air. We haven't been up here in a long time. Well, we're here. This is some of the uncertainty, the grind, the battles comes with the territory. So there it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. That's Ivan Taylor. Jadon Blair. Feel really good about the young man. Feel really good. I think he has one last official visit left. Not worried about that official visit, in my opinion. Penn State early on was thought of as that school. I think he just had a visit to Michigan as well. They could be seen as a competitor, but honestly, I would peg his recruitment as Notre Dame's to lose. That's how I would peg it. Notre Dame's to lose. Notre Dame's to lose. All right. So as we get ready to get out of here, we gave you guys almost 2 hours today. We wanted to double up. Love, how are you feeling though? How are you feeling about the recruit? How are you feeling about the recruiting, the official visits? I saved this one for you last. I want you to break it down because you told me don't be shocked if great things come out of this, because leading into the Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng visit, you were hearing things and chatter from former players about who possibly could show up and how much effort was being put into the visit by Notre Dame. Now, how are you feeling about Jalen and his brother Joku showing up? And man, Notre Dame knocked it out of the park for the 5-star IMG linebacker.
It's definitely a slam dunk, I would think. You know, being able to be in that position that he's in, having a brother that's literally taking that same walk, those same steps. It's an easy, drop in the bucket. It goes along with the legacies that we're being able to recruit of previous NFL players, and I think it fits into the mold of what Notre Dame encompasses. This is a home for legacy players, alumni players, brothers, along that line, because there's a heavy tradition at Notre Dame, and it would be good to the brands match up well, and to continue that stretch of not only the brands matching up, but the linebacker play and being at the level of a Buckets Award winner. I think it's all in the family, and they should keep it at Notre Dame.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better myself. Super chats, Anthony Solomon, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the show, gentlemen. Thank you for tapping in as always. D-Mont, Mr. Food Lover, that track, her is a banger. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you checking out my daughter Ari Camille once again, streaming on all DSPs. Her single, Her. Yeah, extremely proud, man. Thank you all for supporting. Download it, stream it as much as you can. Man, I'm trying to find out how I can put it on continuous stream all day, 24 hours a day, bro.
Yeah.
Run that money up. Lucky Lefty podcast. Left, what you want to do, man? I got Bible class tonight, so I can't do a show tonight.
Okay.
I got Bible class tonight. I just thought about it.
Right.
I was like, man, should we double it up? I got Bible class tonight. Can't do a show tonight. Thank you once again to everybody that tapped in today. We covered the official visits, Notre Dame recruiting, the wide receiver room, the status of that from a development standpoint and a recruiting standpoint, the offseason transition. We also talked about Notre Dame, the breakdown, and the percentages of responsibility, getting Notre Dame to the next level and where that lies. Coach by coach, position by position, player by player. We talked about that. And then we talked about Notre Dame becoming the stalker. How can they become the stalker in college football and in recruiting, and what steps are needed? Early in the show, you guys made it great. As always, the chat was lit. Subscribe to YouTube. Lock in with us, CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow us at Lucky Lefty Pod on X and Instagram. And then hit us up, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Cam McDaniels has a great interview coming up with Jared Payton. And then he has another interview with Brandon Wimbush as well. That's going to be posting really soon. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We bid you adieu until tomorrow morning, Left, where we're back at it, talking more about Notre Dame and what's to come right here on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a fantastic Tuesday, but most of all, make sure you spin it different.